Hi, my name is Roman Valihrach, and I'm the CEO of BitcoinPay.com. So we're a Bitcoin startup. I'm sure most of you heard of Bitcoin. Maybe some of you have some Bitcoins. There's $5.5 billion worth of Bitcoins in circulation today. People do have Bitcoins and they want to spend them. Here's a proof. The US company Overstock.com started accepting Bitcoin payments this year. They received sales of over $1 million in just 2 months, paid with Bitcoin. 60% of that were new customers. How's that possible? Well, with Bitcoin, a business can accept payments from every country of the world, instantly, and with no risk of fraud. No other payment solution can do this. And why? Because of fraud and restrictions. $12 billion of credit card fraud a year. That's a staggering number. It's actually money that businesses lose. So it's extremely difficult for businesses to accept payments abroad from international customers, and sometimes even locally. Bitcoin Pay is an alternative. It brings new customers and new sales. So how does it work? A client pays through the Bitcoin technology. We then convert it to the currency they wish to receive, and the whole process takes just a few seconds. And the merchant is instantly notified. We then send the money to their bank account the following day. We guarantee a 0% fraud rate, a low processing fee, and there are no setup or monthly fees. So what have we achieved during StarCube? We made a nice looking user interface using the most up-to-date technologies, and you can check it through a demo account. We have a solution for retail stores, an online payment terminal that works on all devices. And for online businesses, we have an embedded button based on HTML technology and an API for automated payment processing and shopping cart integration. We're building this solution on top of the two most important aspects of this Bitcoin technology. It's mobile payments. It's an open source technology and works very well. The second important aspect is the efficiency with which this technology works. I show an example. Say I want to send 50 euro abroad. With a bank transfer, it will take me a couple of days. And the fee makes up to 30% of the amount I'm sending. Now for 21st century, that's pretty bad. With Western Union, it's faster, but the fee is even higher. And you actually have to fill out some paper forms with a pen. Not a 21st century stuff either. But with Bitcoin, I can send a payment from my cell phone to anyone on the other side of the planet. And it will take a few seconds and cost me close to nothing. So what's our business model? The client pays through Bitcoin, right? We then make an instant exchange on the Bitcoin market, and we settle the funds to the merchant's account. This is how much we make on the two processing steps, on the currency exchange and on the payment processing. Currently, we're only looking at a niche market, but the upside is huge. I'll tell you why. Today, instant global payments are based on the credit card technology, but credit cards were not made for the internet, and that's not all. Today, in developing countries, only 5% of people own a credit card. On the other hand, 80% have a cell phone right today, and the global penetration of smartphones will reach 60% in 2019. Now that's a huge opportunity there. The current technology is old and very complicated. There's several middlemen on the way of a payment. Bitcoin technology, on the other hand, is open source and based on peer-to-peer network, and it communicates directly between devices. Have a quick look at our finances. We're self-financing this project with $100,000, and we plan to break even in 2016, and our goal is to be processing $50,000 daily by 2017. We're already in intensive talks with a few businesses about the implementation of our product. We already started with some of the implementations. And this is our team. We're two co-founders. Denny and I have known each other for 15 years. We met at Prague's Business School. We're working with two proficient developers, Adam and Jakob, and CRM sales manager David, who is fluent in German. So that's a good start to go to the German market. Our goal is to become the preferred Bitcoin payment processor in Europe, and we're looking for a mentor that will help us on the way to making a great achievement. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Roman. And just tell me, I'm curious, how many Bitcoins you have? Or what's the worth of Bitcoins you have?
Myself right now?
Yeah, yourself.
150.
150, okay. Interesting, I have none.
Okay.
I'm the person. Okay, and now the jury, please, go ahead.
So walk me through the math real quickly. You said 50,000 a day by 2017. Because I'm trying to understand how you scale this business. Because if I take 50,000 times 1.5% times 365, that gets me to less than $300,000 a year in revenue. How are you going to grow this to be something that is in the millions, not hundreds of thousands?
Well, this is very conservative based on self-financing and slow growth. But if we find a partner that we can work with, I'm sure we can make this bigger. So it was a conservative plan.
So you can show some nicer numbers as a like optimistic version with interesting investor.
Well, as I said, there's $50 million processed every day in Bitcoin. So if you take, let's say 1%, then you are at $500,000. So maybe we can reach that if we have the right partner for that.
What do you see as your biggest threat?
Well, our biggest threat is probably the regulatory environment. But the demand for such technology is huge. So it's been invented and it will not be uninvented. So we're sure, we're 100% positive it will somehow evolve.
I can see that you already have experience with Bitcoin and with transactions. Why don't you rush into a new alternative currency? There are many coming up, many are spreading really fast. I saw like 35 at least, and you could be the first. Bitcoin payment is kind of like a saturated market. Plus, you know, if you look at it from the Czech Republic perspective, not too many Bitcoin owners are here. So you're not really missing out on a huge opportunity, plus you're facing a huge competition. So why not other alternative currencies? And did you ever look into real cash payment? Like maybe some of this technology you're developing can be used to make real money transactions cheaper?
You're right, there's many so-called altcoins, but none of them so far brought any advantage over Bitcoin. So if people are not interested in something better than Bitcoin, then there's not a big chance that something else will be better, and we should focus on that. However, there's something called Ripple. It's a really cool technology, hard to understand, but sure has some future. We're thinking of that. And your last question, I forgot.
Why don't you think about real money transactions?
Right,
if you
right.
look at, there's a new startup founded by former Skype founders.
We actually are. The most interesting thing about this project is learning from what is possible. So we learned that you can actually have an ATM machine which you can put money in, and someone on the other side of the world can take money out within just a few minutes. So that's what Bitcoin is capable of and costs almost nothing. That's one thing. The other one is the peer-to-peer trading market. We are also working into that and looking at the possibilities there. But if you think of using it in the normal currency exchange, and there's a huge opportunity there too, because people are trading directly without the middleman, without the bank taking 4%. So there's a lot to learn from Bitcoin there.
Very, very quick question, if I may, before we run out of time. Well, you said you're risk-free. Can you a little bit elaborate on that? And where do you exactly stand in the chain? Because I'm not really getting it, basically. Where the customer is paying, do you get their Bitcoin? Do you receive them on your public address? Or you're the exchange office that basically sell it to some of the exchanges?
Yes, the customer actually pays to us. So we are the ones receiving the Bitcoins.
This is risk-free. Okay, go on, sir.
Well, if you know the technology, then you know that how to settle it instantly. And it's time limited, so they only have certain amount of time in which they can send the money. So the risk of the fluctuation is pretty low, and you can you can offset
I
that.
understand. So the middleman, basically, they sell it to you, you sell it to Coinbase or BTC.
Yes,
Okay.
instantly. With
Okay.
API, it works within seconds.
Okay, so thank you very much for your questions.